Hi everyone. Just like I mentioned in my last video, I plan to talk about how I learned tarot tonight. A good friend of mine asked me and I thought I would make a good video blog. A written blog I think would be too boring. But being able to see visuals and hear me babbling might be more entertaining. Anyway, so I learned how to read tarot cards from my mother a very long time ago. I was probably 9 or 10 when I first started reading, and I'm going to let you go ahead and guess at the math on that one, but it's been a very long time. Before that, my mother used to read tarot cards for people, and when her clients would allow it and were okay with it, she would let me sit in, and I would get to watch her do her readings. And so part of the way I learned tarot cards is simply by watching what my mother did and emulating that later on. So I do have some idiosyncrasies that I've gotten from her that I think are charming, but maybe other people don't. Also, I am very much into symbology, and I have always loved symbology. Even when I was very young, I remember playing with symbols and studying symbols and combining them with crayons and paper. So I don't even remember a time when I wasn't into symbology. And so my mother kind of capitalized on various different methods to teach me how to read tarot cards. I want to share with you guys my very first tarot deck. My mother and her friends believe that your first deck should always be a gift. So this was a gift from a friend of my mother's, and it is a Rider-Waite deck. But as you can see, it's very tiny, and I absolutely adore this deck still to this very day. This is the same cardstock that they use for the normal size Rider-Waites, so it's got that nice smooth feeling, nice thick cardstock, but it's very small, and as you can see, my hands still haven't grown much. So I would love to find decks this size made with this quality, but I've had a very hard time. I've never seen another deck like this, and I think it's just marvelous. So I did start to read on the Rider-Waite, and that's what my mother read, and it was pretty much what everyone read back in the 70s and 80s when my mom was doing this. And yeah, but I never really cared for it much myself. And the images just kind of, I feel meh about, and they don't really connect to me. But I do enjoy the symbology of the Rider-Waite. So my first lessons began from just observing my mother, and then she showed me how to do different spreads and how to ask questions and how to improvise and things like that. She also gave me a couple books. This is the one that she used. It's backwards in my video. It's the Pictorial Key to the Tarot by Arthur Waite, which is really a very interesting read. I do recommend it. It does discuss all the symbols on the cards themselves, so it's almost like if you learn the symbols, then you can read the meaning off the cards without ever actually having to memorize them, which I think is awesome. She also gave me, before I started reading tarot cards, she did start teaching me numerology, and so another book that she gave me is this one. It's the Connolly Tarot. It's a series of 5 books, I believe. I only have 1 through 3, but this takes a numerology approach to the tarot cards because each of the cards have their own numerical value. So, for instance, you have Ace through King, which gives you 1 through 13, or 14, one of those. And so each of those numbers has a specific meaning in numerology, and each of the suits has its own particular domain in life. For instance, swords tend to indicate some kind of action or conflict. So I also learned that system as well. And the last system, well, 2 more systems that I draw heavily from are these tiny little books that come with the decks. That usually every deck comes with one. And I'll read through those a few times when I get a new deck to kind of get the nuance and differences from other decks. Each deck is different, but it can be read the same. And then the other method that I learned was just to follow my intuition. So I learned that you look at the card, and if you can't remember it, you pull the symbology, but you also are aware of any emotions or images that come to mind. And so a lot of times, even your most specific book will give you 4, 5, 6 different directions that a card can go. And so it's very key when reading tarot cards that you do use your intuition to figure out exactly which meaning that card is representing, even if you're just memorizing the meanings from the books. So there's people refer to a stock reading that just seems like someone read the cards and that was it, and I don't understand that concept personally because they can be read in so many different ways. There's really no true way to read every single card. So I am currently using the Fantastical Tarot deck. I really like these because they speak to me. I like the artwork on them. It's a little darker, but I feel that it speaks more directly to the spirit of the card, and I like the artwork, so I'm very fond of that. And I do read them with a mishmash of traditional readings, the readings from the book they came with, their numerical values, and my own intuition, so I'm pulling on a lot of different background. There are also cards that have a very special meaning to me personally, such as the Three of Swords is a common companion of mine, as well as the Hermit, Death, the Hanged Man, and the Tower. So those ones I read very much from my own personal experience and intuition instead of going off anything the books say. So there's just a lot of different sources that I draw from, and my mother encouraged all of them. She could speak extensively on exactly how to read them according to each different method, but she herself primarily read off intuition and was just amazing at it. So that's a little bit of my background about my mother and how she taught me to read tarot. And if you're looking at my blog right now, you'll actually see a picture of my mother and me during one of her readings right below this video. So there you go, and I hope that answers any questions. If you have any more for me, please just ask. And I will get back to you. I will have more videos coming soon, so I'll talk to you later, guys. Take care of yourselves. Bye.